Welcome to r/malicious compliance, where we share stories of people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of request. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story: I helped an elderly man, and I'm proud of my deed. The second story: new worker refused to work and was demoted. The third story: a fast food delivery serviceman who wants to order for himself can't, because it's mobile orders only. The first story is: you don't want to help an elderly and injured person? Okay, fine by you. I work at an international airport as a check-in agent with a lot of lovely colleagues, supervisors, and coordinators. But there's always that one who is just, an a-hole. Just to give some necessary information when the flight is fully booked, we allow people to check in their cabin baggage for free because there's not enough space in the overhead compartments in the aircraft for everyone's cabin baggage. This flight was not full. As I'm doing check-in, a certain elderly man with a cast on his left hand and a shaking right hand comes to my counter. I do the check-in and he asks if we can take his cabin bag for free, because he doesn't have the strength to carry it till the gate. I don't have the authority to do it on my own, but I'm feeling quite empathetic and want to ask my supervisor for clearance. I go to him. Mind you, he likes to put a stance as always a POS to passengers and fellow agents, and explain to him that we should do it as human beings. He tells me that the gentleman has to pay 60 euros if he wants it to be done. Cue the malicious compliance. I go to the elderly gentleman and tell him that my supervisor is a POS, who doesn't want to allow it. Of course, he's sad and tries to explain further how he can't do it because of his arms. I fully got the picture from the start. Even tries to hand me 40 euros tip for doing it in desperation. Mind you, this gentleman is really old and really is not a condition to carry in any hand luggage. I refuse the money and tell him to sit and wait for my coworker to come with a wheelchair to drive him to the aircraft, literally to the door of the aircraft. Explain to him that at CDG a man will wait for him to drive him in a wheelchair. Mind you, this happens at around 60 minutes to takeoff. For passengers, this means 40 minutes. It takes time for a coworker to come and pick up this lovely gentleman. It takes time for everything, including the security check, passport control because he is in a wheelchair. The gentleman again offers me a 40 euro tip, and again I refuse because this is about understanding and being a human being. A coworker arrives, picks up the gentleman, gets his hand luggage, and off they go. Now here's the best part. Hours later, I get called into office of my supervisor to explain why. I called a wheelchair passenger so late, and I tell them the truth because I have an understanding with them, that I shall always tell the truth, and they would cover me, but this time it's different. This time the takeoff was late by 20 minutes. That's not a lot if you're a passenger, but it is if you work at an airport. I tell them that I judge the gentleman as fit to walk alone, but not carry his hand luggage, and thus had to call in a wheelchair service, and my supervisor ignored that despite having a look at the said gentleman. I even mentioned the possible 40 euro tip. I get appraised for judgmental thinking and excused. The supervisor, on the other hand, he got so badly roasted to the point of being temporarily demoted to being a check-in agent, with a warning of being fired, because this is not his first, second, or third time, causing a flight being delayed. God, what a POS. To be really honest, he had the right to say that the passenger has to pay, but we have this thing when and where we go above and beyond for certain passengers. Sailors, elderly, parents with children, those are the categories where rules are non-existent. That is a silent deal we all have. I have 3 more supervisors who would have, and I really mean it, murdered my career if I did not take it for free. The hand luggage, I mean. I work for the airport, but there's a silent agreement with both Customs and Border Patrol that we let some things slide. Have a child, pregnant, kid throws a tantrum, or any similar situations, we open queues just for you, because we don't understand you but imagine your hardship. I don't understand what your life is, but D me and throw me to hell if I and the good people I work with don't go, and make your day or hour just a bit more manageable or bearing. I'm proud of them, all of them. The said gentleman, who I must emphasize was really kind and sweet, did not have the right to make his luggage go into the baggage compartment, so that was his hand luggage. Personally, I never ever and will continue to do so, never weighed the hand luggage of certain categories of passengers. Maybe that is discrimination, maybe, but I don't care. Elderly, people with children can go by me if I could do it at that moment. He offered a tip, yes, to my understanding. He did not know the price of check-in bag but still wanted to give a tip. My pride and honor did not want to accept that tip. You're a good man. It's so sad that some people just don't have empathy. Well done for doing the right thing. I know how stressful and terrifying being at the airport can be for a healthy person. It's hard to imagine what less able people go through at airports, and every action that improves it for them is amazing, and should be called awesome, so that we hopefully get back on track where it's normal. but still awesome. There could have been many reasons why this situation happened. Maybe this elderly man broke his arm while away from home, so he didn't know he couldn't carry it all when he packed up. Maybe his guardian packed for him without being attentive, or knowing the extent of his abilities, and now he's stuck at the airport just trying to cope with the situation he finds himself in. I appreciate you helping this elderly man. There should be more people like that in this world. I'm always thankful for the airline employees who are happy and willing to go out of their way to help passengers. The next story is, no rest for the wicked. You can't give yourself a weekend off. So I've been working at this gas station and car wash for about 2.5 years. No, gas stations don't pay very well, so I actually have 2 part-time jobs. That's the way it is, with the COL in this city. You're either rich or you work 2 jobs. The way I manage that is, at the gas station I work a few nights graveyard shift, on it right now, and weekends, since most folks want Saturday and Sunday off. One nice thing about those shifts is, I usually work alone. I like to think the management knows and trusts me to handle anything, especially on weekends when it can get pretty crazy. Lately, I've even been given the task of training new hires, but this one gal, I don't think she's gonna work out. She's, how shall we say it, lazy Lucy. Look, I'm not quick to judge people, but when she actually bragged that at her other graveyard job, she sleeps on duty. Then I didn't have high hopes. We've worked together for a few weekend shifts now, with her taking off early because you're here, so I don't have to stay all day, right? Well, whatever, we weren't going to work together in the future anyway. I'd heard that she was going to be part of the staff at a different, bigger location. Last weekend, Lucy was off the schedule, so I assumed that she'd been placed at the other gas station. But this weekend, she was back on the same shift with me. More training, perhaps? But okay, I could use the help on those hustle days. Saturday, I go in for the afternoon shift, and the morning coworker I was relieving says Lucy had been there already, a few months ago, and then just left. When Lucy had heard that I was coming in too, she announced that 2 people weren't necessary, and promptly gave herself the day off. WTF. Of course, I contacted the manager because this was getting ridiculous. After talking to Lucy, the manager gave me the whole story. Lucy was supposed to work at the other gas station, but there had been a slight schedule printing mix-up, what with Lucy being new and all. While it is understandable if maybe she went to the wrong place, but why didn't she call or head over to the right location? Answer: because she didn't want to. Lucy said that the other station was too busy and there was too much work to do. I'm not making that up. That's a direct quote. Why does she think we hired her? Reasonably, the manager had listened to Lucy's explanation for not working with me on Saturday. The 2 people weren't necessary, so the manager asks me, do you want to come in tomorrow, or would you like it off, and Lucy will cover for you. Really, I haven't had a Sunday off since I started working here, so I said sayonara, and see you Monday. And now Lucy is scheduled for every weekend at that busy location, for as long as she plans on working for this gas company, which shouldn't be long. I heard a similar story from an old friend of mine. A few years ago, we were hanging out one day and she told me an interesting story. The topic of her current job comes up, and she tells me about her job at the gas station and how the new guy pulled the same trick. It doesn't have to be 2 people on the clock here. I believe she left that job the last time we talked, but that was at least 2 or 3 years ago. I asked what she did then and found out that she told their manager about it. He didn't believe her at first, but later realized that my friend was telling the truth, because this new employee was constantly late for work and didn't complete the tasks assigned by the manager. The new employee was fired. After reading this, I had a feeling of deja vu. The last story is, we're only taking mobile orders right now. Okay, cool. I've taken on many assignments recently. Let's call the most recent a driver for Food Dude, where I deliver food to people who order. I picked up 3 orders, and toward the end of picking up the 3rd order in a short time period, late at night, I had decided that smelling all the fast food got me hungry for a bite. I decided that upon picking up the last one over an hour before closing, I wouldn't waste time ordering my food while picking up my last mobile. Hot food matters, plus I know how anyone this is to the drive-thru from experience, and decide I'd come back and order my own after I deliver. So I drive back to the fast food empire, and the drive-thru pipes in after a minute, and I'd say, yes, I'd like to order a rudely interrupting person says, we're only taking mobile orders right now. I explained to them that I was just here 10 minutes ago, and would have ordered then if I had known. I drive for Food Dude, as if this would somehow change their mind, because it's mobile order adjacent or something. Then I hear a bevy of people laughing and making random comments, while the main person talking repeated even more rudely, we're only taking mobile orders right now, with the background person saying, oh F him, that's the guy who, before they disconnected the line. Enter malicious compliance. Well, luckily I have a hotspot. Thank you, first job. So I simply used my iPad to make an other Food Dude order, through their location for quite the feast. I was only planning on getting a big nasty and some fries, but my order now consisted of coffee, a shaky shake, fries no salt, You know, some of the most annoying things to put together for an order. I also, while waiting in the drive-thru behind another bevy of cars, managed to change my name on the other Food Dude app as Jokeson Ulysses, which I know would, if it works like the Aloha system at my company, show up in their system as Jokes on You. I also managed to pick up my own order, seeing where my address and where I was located was the closest one. I was very thankful for this, because there had to be 3 other mobile order drivers in line, any of which could have been linked with the same food delivery company. So here I go, finally inching up to the drive-thru, as one of the most annoying looking people in the world. Maybe I'm biased, but this dude's trying to bring back the mushroom cut. Leans out way more than needed just to happily remind me, "Dude, we're not making anything for you, it's My turn to interrupt. Oh, it's under Jokeson, which I pronounced as Jokeson, like it was an actual name. I just picked up the order in line like right now. So he huffs away and they take an insanely long time making it, to the point I feel bad because they didn't have me pull around while 3 other cars were behind me. I even asked, "Hey, do you want me to pull around? I'm happy to wait." They just scowled and went back to making the order. They finally hand out all the things, drinks first, and I start ripping into the items in front of them as I shift into gear. The slow realization of what just happened appeared on their faces, and I regret that I only got to see it out of the corner of my eye. Edit. For the record, I work fast food currently. I honestly don't know why these guys hate me. Maybe I order weird, maybe I've driven through to the window instead of waiting the 3 minutes it usually took at this location to be recognized. Timing is everything, hot food, and I'm well aware that I'm an A-hat. And to those who say I'm brave for calling out fast food workers when I myself work in the industry, let's just say I work for an establishment that has higher standards for how we treat our food and customers, so I guess when I see people not taking their job seriously in any way, I get the camaraderie of joking around to get through a moment after it being slammed. But this is another story based on my history with these people. Yeah, they're doing their best, but I had a long night too, dude, and the abruptness and rudeness was unwarranted. I'm always civil. Tonight was the final straw with being mistreated. Yelled at both ends when the place screws up my customers' orders multiple times. But I could be and am probably wrong there. I still don't seem to really care somehow. Man, that was bold. I very often say to people who are rude to caterers, never be rude to people who will eat your food where you can't see it. It can hurt you. I'm not saying you were rude. Rather, it was brave of you to order food from a-holes who were going to cook your food out of sight. Haha. Don't forget to subscribe and have a nice day.